Hi guys, it's Max here from Vanguard Kaiser, and today I thought I'd share with you my Blazing Lion Platinum Ezel deck profile. This is a deck which is still competitive in the game, can still hold its own even with things like Aggravain being out, and is still an incredibly fun deck to play. It's probably one of the most fun decks I currently own that I enjoy playing with. The Superior Ride chain can be absolutely devastating if you've gone first. So with that said, let's get into the deck profile, and please share your thoughts and comments in the comments below. So we start off with our grade 3s, and we run 3 copies of Blazing Lion Platinum Ezel. Blazing Lion Platinum Ezel is a 12k grade 3 with Ezel, and his skill is Counterblast 1, and then you change the first drive check into look at the top 2 cards of your deck, reveal 1 card from among them in your trigger zone, and call 1 card from among them to rearguard. Then, if your soul has 2 or more grade 3s, you can do that for your second drive check as well. This card is incredible. You're paying Counterblast 1 to place 2 cards onto the field, and also to check your drive checks and make sure you're tuning them to whatever you need that turn. We only run 3 copies of this card because we really need to ensure that we have rode our Blonde Ezel and Raven-haired Ezel before going into this, just to make sure we're maximising the opportunity to get to see our second drive check as well as our first. So that's our Blazing Lion Platinum Ezel. Next, we look at our other Ezels, and we play 4 copies of Blonde Ezel. Blonde Ezel is the first target we want to be riding into, and his skill is if you have a Bowmains and a Gareth on your Vanguard or Rearguard circle, you can Soul Blast 1 Criff, and then you get to Superior Ride this card as stood. Then, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2 or lower, it gets Drive -1, so only gains single drive. Also, when it attacks, you can call a card from your hand and place it on Rearguard circle. This guy is something you want to ride into, but you want to replace it as quickly as possible with one of our 4 copies of Raven-haired Ezel. Raven-haired Ezel's skill is when you have a Blonde Ezel on the Vanguard circle, you can Counterblast 1 and ride this unit as stood. Then, when it attacks, if the Blonde Ezel is still in your soul, you can Counterblast 1, and then this card becomes a 27k double crit attacker that your opponent can't call Sentinels to guard with. So, going into this on your second turn can absolutely devastate your opponent and place loads and loads of damage on the board really early on. What I would say is that we play 4 copies of each of these and only 3 Platina. You should be seeing your Platina later on in the game, but if you are stuck on your Raven-haired Ezel, Raven-haired is more than capable of ending the game on its own. One of the other benefits of this Superior Ride is that in your second turn, you will have a 12k or 27k, depending on how many counterblasters you've got, grade 3 with Twin Drive with 2 Ezel circles on the board. So you're already placing yourself at a really good advantage to be able to just crush your opponent and place as much pressure on them as possible. That's the first 11 of our grade 3s. We do play 2 more still, and that's 2 more copies of full Cavalier Dragon. Now, 13 grade 3s does seem like a lot, but because we're playing Ezel, we've got lots and lots of Ezel circles in the front row where we can drop these grade 3s down to place extra pressure on our opponent. Full Cavalier Dragon is really good because it's a skill you can keep using. It's a once per turn skill, so it's not on place. You can use it next turn after you've used it the turn before. And it's Soul Blast 1, you look at the top card of your deck and call it to your rearguard, and then your Vanguard gains 5k. So a really nice way of filling out your board without depleting your hand. That's our Full Cavalier Dragon. Now onto our grade 2s. We only play 8 grade 2s in this deck, and they're the 2 cards that are used for Superior Riding. The first one is Bowmains, and the second one is Wonder Ezel. Now, we only play 8 grade 2s because we really want to make sure that we're definitely going to be Superior Riding every single game we play. And that can only be guaranteed by only playing the grade 2s at Superior Ride. We'll start off with our Bowmains. Bowmain's skill is, when it's placed, you can discard a card from your hand to search your deck for your Gareth and place it on rearguard. So as long as you've got another card in your hand, which you should do turn 2, by this point, you've guaranteed that you're going to be riding into Blonde Ezel. So you've made sure that you are on grade 3 turn 2. Its second ability is a rearguard skill, and that is when it's placed by a card's ability, it becomes a 12k attacker to the end of the turn. So it's also a card which can go straight onto an Ezel circle and attack into your opponent straight away. So a really nice card, really versatile, really good for getting your skills off that you need and for Superior Riding. Our next grade 2 is our Wonder Ezel. Wonder Ezel's skill is another Superior Ride skill, as I said. It's 9k grade 2, and it's Soul Blast 1 and retire a Howl, which is a grade 1 card, on your rearguard circle. Search deck for a blonde Ezel and ride it as stud, and it gains drive -1. So no matter what, if your opponent's on grade 2 or less, you're going to be single driving if you don't have that Raven Herd in your hand. But even as a single drive goes, if your opponent's on grade 1 and you're on grade 3, it's going to be worth it in the long run. Also, when it's placed on rearguard, you can call a card from your hand to rearguard circle. So if you've got, say, your Ezel already on the board, and you've got this and Bowmains in your hand, you can call this, then call Bowmains, and Bowmains gains the 3k skill. So it's also really good for setting off the skills of some of your other cards. Next, we move on to our grade 1s, and of course you know by now that we are playing both Gareth and Howl, as they're our targets for superior riding. Gareth's skill, again, is a power boost skill, and it's when he's placed, you can Counterblast 1 and he gains 10k, so he becomes an 18k attacker on his own. If he's placed on your XL2 circle, he's going to be a 23k attacker, meaning your opponent has to guard at least 15k to stop his attacks. So a really nice, strong powerhouse card that's needed for our superior rides. Next, we move on to Howl, and Howl's skill is, at the end of the battle that it boosted, if you have a Vanguard of Ezel in its name, which you will do, you can Counterblast 1 and put him into your soul, then you draw a card and call a card from your hand to rearguard. So you can send this card straight into your soul, and then you get another attack off of this straight away. Hopefully you'd want to call that unit onto your Excel circle to get some more attacks through. Next, we play 4 copies of Listener of Truth Dindrain. We play this card because it helps us keep up our card advantage, and it's a 10k booster when it's called as well, or 10k attacker. So when placed by card's ability, you Soul Blast 1, draw a card, or you can Counterblast 1 and he gains 3k. So he's a versatile card that can be useful in lots of different situations, and he helps you make sure that your hand's not too clogged up with grade 3s if you've got loads of them in there already. After that, we move on to our triggers. We play what you'd expect. We play Criff because he's needed for the Superior Ride Chain. When rode upon, draw a card. And then we play 4 crits, 4 draws, 4 fronts, and 4 heals. The triggers is very up to your own kind of decision about what you want to do. A lot of people only play 2 front triggers. I decided to play 4 just because I think they place as much pressure as you need in this deck on your opponent, making sure that your attacks are definitely going to go through. If I was going to go for XL1 rather than XL2 in this deck, I'd be much more likely to play less front triggers because I would be much more likely to be able to hit my opponent when they've hit a trigger. But because I'm going to XL2, which is only a 5k boost, I prefer to play lots and lots of fronts because it ensures that my attacks are going to hit. Especially because we're going to have a lot of Excel circles on the front row because of our superior ride chain. The other reason I play fronts at 4 is because our grade 3 Raven Hair gains a crit on its own anyway, so you've got that pressure already. And you're also fixing your triggers to whatever you need to see. So I play rainbow triggers for that reason. As I said, I do go into my XL2 normally. I've not yet seen a situation where I've needed to go into XL1. So that's the deck. Please do share your thoughts in the comments below. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So until next time, guys, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.